Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. And I wanted to touch base on how people make it to go into the extreme and how sometimes our vessels are hijacked, right? And how does that happen? The other day I was talking about the children and about how they're going missing because these entities need to feed, and the people that these entities have working for them, their vessels have been hijacked, and they look just like regular people, just like we do, right? And so unless we have spiritual eyes to see and we are hip to this, we wouldn't be able to identify it, right? And for some of us, some of the people that were closest to us, our family, our friends, the people that matter the most to us, they have been people who have been hijacked by these entities, who have been consumed by, let's just call it the seven deadly sins, right? And when we look at it like that, we just think, oh, you're just greedy, or he's just jealous, or he's just hurt. He had, or she just has pain. Her boyfriend left her, or her husband left her, or somebody died, God forbid, and they just got resentful, and this is why they behave the way they do, right? But it goes so much deeper than that. It goes so much deeper than that, and if we don't heal, then we are prone to invite entities to attach to us. These spirits that are demonic just need to find an entry in order to hijack your vessel. And the more wounds you have, the more hurt you are, the more pain you conserve inside your vessel, the more space, the more room that they have to come in and take over your vessel. And so we're going to look at situations like, for example, for me, I have experience, like a lot of experience with people who have came into my life who look perfectly normal, who portray to be loving, caring, kind, and in reality, they were planning my downfall. And when I say my downfall, I mean like literally have a plan to unalive me, or have tried to poison me, or have sent lovers in to portray to be, lovers with the intent to take my life, right? And I was not aware of any of it, and it wasn't until I had my awakening, it wasn't until I chose to heal completely, until I chose to stop engaging in things that didn't benefit me, no matter who it came from, until I didn't choose myself and I had my awakening, I was not able to see that these things were part of our reality. And I want to bring out awareness into it because it's more common than we think, and it's the reason why there are so many crimes happening, so many organized crime, to say that, like, it's mostly organized crime, because these are not just regular people who are, it's not the ones that we think that we want, that we should be like scared of, that we are to be scared of. So like, it's very much organized, it's very much occult, it's very much secret society vibes, it's very much, you wouldn't expect that from that person type of vibe, right? And so first and foremost, the way that we stop it, that we prevent it from continuing, is by looking at ourselves first. right? Looking at ourselves and seeing what can we do with ourselves, with our vessel, to prevent that from happening to us and to the people around us, right? Because at some point these people were humans, were like good people, because God doesn't create trash. They were good people, loving, caring, kind people at some point, right? And then life happened and they got hurt, and that kept accumulating. They got a lot of betrayal, a lot of hurt, a lot of pain, a lot of abandonment, right? And they chose a different path. Okay, so the more pain we withhold from within, the more hurt, the more resentment, the more anger, the more agony, the more self-hatred that we withhold from within, the more greed, the more jealousy, the more envy. These things sound very like you're just a little jealous, you're just a little envy, but untreated envy can cause people to do horrific things. And when I speak on this, I want to say so much of my experience with like envy, of people just being envious, and not even of material things that I have, but just my spirit, my soul. The fact that with little, I'm content. And with everything that has happened to me, to my physical vessel, my spirit, it's still loving. It still believes in love. It still wants to help others. And the experiences that I've had with the people that I loved so much, that I cared about to my core, has been devastating, to say the least, right? It doesn't have words to explain it. But again, when I come up here and I speak about these matters, I speak on it because these vessels, because now they're empty vessels, they were hijacked by these evil spirits who, that we call, like, that we so bluntly or just so commonly just be like, oh, a little hate, a little envy, she's just a little narcissistic, oh, that's just the way she is. We have to start being more mindful, approaching and pointing things out for what they are. And we have to start healing so that these entities are not able to consume us to the point that they overtake our vessel. And some people don't even realize it, that they've been overtaken by jealousy, by envy, by greed. They think that that's just who they are. But for the people who have spiritual eyes to see, who have been awakened, we know what's happening. And some of them need an exorcism. But because society is so, like, to a point of, it's so common to just be a bitch. Yeah, she's just a little crazy. I mean, aren't we all? But there's an extreme of things, like when you go to the point where you're hurting other people, when you're hurting yourself. It starts with healing. Before we go ahead and start looking outside and looking at other people and pointing out the finger at somebody else, like, yeah, I noticed that, you're a little jealous and envious, right? Let's start with ourselves, right? And when we start with ourselves, when we see it in other people, because we've healed, we won't engage with it. And by not engaging with it, we go ahead and we dismantle that spirit, right? Because everything that's not fed dies. The same thing with these type of things that are happening. Anything that we don't feed, none of these spirits that we don't feed, they're going to go ahead and disappear. right? But the first thing is to become aware. It literally starts with us. Healing is the road.